Hello and welcome to This Week in Trek, an irregular series of videos which I do every time when something important happened during the last week in the wonderful world of Star Trek. This episode will be dedicated fully to Star Trek Discovery. As you probably know, a new live-action Star Trek show is being developed right now. It will be on CBS All Access in the USA and on Netflix all over the world, and CBS has finally released something we can look at. The first thing is a promotional picture. No, it's not Rey's mother and her friend, as many of fans started to call this online, even though I must admit I do get a Jedi vibe from their robes. These are actually, on the left, Captain Philippa Georgiou, played by Michelle Yeoh. I have no clue what's the correct pronunciation of the names, so I'm absolutely sure I will get them wrong during the whole video. The one on the right is the first officer, Michael Burnham. Both of them are from the starship Shenzhou. Why are they promoting Discovery using the crew of a completely different starship? That's a very good question. I'm not sure what's wrong with this picture, but I first thought it's shot on a green screen stage and the background seems to be CG, however it looks like it was shot on location in Jordan, so I don't know what exactly is the problem with it, but it really looks CG to me. Anyway, look at the gear. Michael has something which are probably the new communicator and the tricorder. They do have this kind of TOS feel, which is a good thing, since this is a TOS prequel. But now let's go to the more exciting stuff. A few hours after this promotional picture was shared, we got two versions of the first official trailer. I have done a video showing the previous two teasers and their breakdown, so feel free to watch them if you haven't seen them yet. Now it's time to talk about the two new trailers. One of them is the CBS version and the second one is the Netflix version. They are very similar, just slightly differently edited together, and from what I've read, the Netflix version has a few more brief shots. The first one is on the CBS channel and it's geo-blocked. Yes, it's 2017 and CBS thinks that it's normal to create a trailer, a promotional video created to promote the show globally on the whole planet, and make it accessible only from the USA. Come on CBS, don't you understand you need to share this as much as possible? And also you need guys like me who talk about it while showing bits of it. The first shot we see feels really cinematic, which is a good thing. It also feels like it belongs to Star Wars and not Star Trek, which is a bad thing. After we get the information about the time in which the show will take place, we see our two female heroes, and I still have a feeling that they're composited in front of a CGI environment. We then get informed that Michael has served under Georgiou for 70 years. So I guess this footage comes from the pilot. Michael is now serving on the Shenzhou and will be transferred to the Discovery. She is supposed to be the first officer of the Discovery, and there's something weird about Yeoh's line delivery. More about it later, because the next thing we see is a beautiful shot of the Shenzhou coming through the clouds. I love this shot. The design of the ship kind of reminds me on the Enterprise NX-01, just upside down, but it's hard to tell from this angle. Then we get a glimpse at the new transporter effect. Well, I personally do think it's better than the horrible circular one used in the reboot movies. I still don't like it. I think the transporter effect should look like a mix of the effect used on the Enterprise and the effect used on TOS. We then get the new warp effect. I'm not sure if I like it or not, and then we see that the Shenzhou apparently has the bridge below the main hull. That's an interesting change, and one of the changes I actually like. And then we see the lens flares. Did they learn absolutely nothing from the criticism against the JJ movies? I hate lens flares. We can see a brief glimpse of the new bridge, which looks okay, and the new uniforms. And I hate the new uniforms, they look like jogging suits and not military uniforms. Not to mention they look completely different from the TOS uniforms, that's again a bad thing. And then we see a hologram. Am I the only one who feels that it should be saying something like, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only help"? Come on, full-body holograms just don't belong to Star Trek. Definitely not to a Star Trek show which takes place 10 years before the original show. By the way, who is that? It's clearly a Vulcan, but should this be Sarek, Spock's father? It's edited in such a way that it looks like he's talking to Michael. Is there a chance that she will be somehow related to Spock? We can see more shots of the bridge, some weird aliens, and more horrible line delivery from Michelle Yeoh. I'm sorry, but I hate every single line she says in the trailer. Is she actually a professional actress? I haven't seen her in anything else, but she absolutely sucks in this trailer. Then we get to see another new alien, and thankfully he's done using good old-fashioned makeup. That's a good thing. However, the next shot shows us the main screen and it makes me angry. It looks like something from the JJ movies and not something from a show which should take place 10 years before the original show. We then see Michael in a new spacesuit, which is one of the best looking spacesuits I've seen. Great work on this one. Another case of the Vulcan hologram, which does not belong in this franchise, and they're followed by some nice looking space shots. The igniter scene is a nice little tribute to a similar scene from Star Trek the Motion Picture, which is really nice. Then we get informed that the show will be aired this fall. I was hoping for a more specific date, but okay, it's better than nothing, I guess. And then we see the most annoying piece of shit in this trailer, the piece which everybody seems to hate, the Klingons. Not only they have something which might be a sarcophagus, they look like shit. The redesigned Klingons are the first thing in this trailer which I absolutely hate. Not to mention the inside of their ship looks like a stage from some Broadway musical or a Siegfried and Roy show. After more space shots we get something which could be a flashback. The older Vulcan, probably Sarek, says to a little black girl she will never learn Vulcan. That is probably a younger version of Michael, so was she his student or something? This made me actually curious. I would prefer if they didn't include Sarek at all, but if they did it correctly it could be a nice tribute. We see more corridors and more lens flares and the people on the bridge in some kind of pain. Then we get a wonderful looking shot of the alien planet. I absolutely love this one. I even think it would be a nice wallpaper. Then these guys, I refuse to call them Klingons, are screaming for some reason. Maybe the Klingon death ritual? Then we see a great looking alien. I'm not sure if it's CG, but it looks practical. So if it's CG, it's really great CG. And then we see this robot-like dude. That might be the dumbest thing in this video so far. Again, do they actually know that it should take place 10 years before the original series? Do they actually know Star Trek? Yeoh gives us some more horribly sounding lines. People yell at each other because that's Star Trek, right? When somebody says Star Trek, you immediately imagine fellow officers screaming at each other and arguing if Starfleet should fire first. Right? Right? My people were biologically determined for one purpose only, to sense the coming of death. That might be the most idiotic sentence which ever appeared in any Star Trek. Bravo! That's some brilliant writing. And then we see a shot from some video game. Boy, the boss seems small. Oh wait, this is Star Trek, really? Okay. Then we see the Discovery logo and that's it. So there are a few things I loved about the trailer, some things I tolerated, and unfortunately also a couple of things which I absolutely hated about the trailer. I hate how the show looks, the view screen, the lens flares, and of course the Klingons. The Klingons look like shit mixed with some animal which was ran over by a truck. I also absolutely hated Michelle Yeoh. I have never seen her act in anything else, but other people claim she's a great actress, so I don't know. But she's the second worst thing about the trailer. The first are, of course, the new Klingons. But still, there are bits which look really nice. I like most of the visual effects. And that's probably it, to be honest. Which is actually kind of sad. Let's now talk about the Netflix cut of the trailer. The shots come in a different order and we hear an annoying dated pop song, which I hope will not be featured in the actual show. But other than that, it looks like the shots used are the same. So, what do you think? Did you like what you've seen? Because I honestly don't know if I should be happy or sad. As I said before, there are some things I did like, however, there were also some things I absolutely hated. So, I don't know. I will definitely give the series a chance and watch at least the first couple of episodes, but I start to have a feeling that this will not be a Star Trek show for me. Just like the Kelvin Timeline movies are not Star Trek movies for me. Anyway, leave your opinions down in the comment section. I'm really curious to see what will be the general impression of this from both old fans like me and people who were introduced to Star Trek with the J.J. Abrams movies. So, thanks a lot for watching. Feel free to check any of the previous videos I've done and see you sometimes in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye.